It's 4 o'clock on a Wednesday, and we have just learned that 2 people are now facing charges in connection with the deadly hit and run. It happened in Aurora back in August.
The 2 suspects are not facing charges for the man's death, at least not just yet. This crash on August 5th killed Jason Lyman and his 2 dogs. Police say Lyman was walking early that morning on South Reservoir Road near Horizon Park. A Toyota Sequoia hit Lyman, his dogs, and the driver left them to die. Police say they arrested 22-year-old Stephen Carter and 45-year-old Cullen Barnes. They're facing charges for attempting to influence a public servant because police say they lied to investigators. APD says Cullen owns the vehicle. They say he was in the vehicle when the crash happened. Cullen says he was not driving. Police are waiting for forensic evidence to determine who was driving. There is still a $10,000 reward for information in the crash.
Also this afternoon, witnesses are describing a wild shootout involving police last night in Lone Tree, and when it was over, 2 people suspected of stealing a car were dead.
The Douglas County Sheriff's Office says the shootout started when the suspect shot at several deputies inside the parking garage of an RTD station. And that's where 9 News crime and justice reporter Matt Jablow joins us now live. Matt?
Kim, it was quite the scene overnight here at this Lone Tree RTD parking garage. One witness who lives next door told me she could not believe what she was hearing and seeing.
I was terrified. I thought my heart was going to beat out of my chest.
Mandy Roan says it was just after 11:30 Tuesday night when she heard gunfire.
There was a lot.
Coming from the RTD parking garage just outside her apartment in Lone Tree.
It didn't feel real.
They were in the front seat.
Douglas County Sheriff Tony Spurlock says it all began when a deputy with the department's Patterns Crime Unit saw a black Kia with no license plates in the garage. The car was backed into a parking spot with a shade visor over the windshield.
The deputies were looking for stolen vehicles.
Spurlock says when the deputy called for backup, 6 more deputies arrived. According to Spurlock, they knocked on the Kia's windows and announced themselves as law enforcement. Spurlock says the 2 people inside the car then opened fire.
This took place 3 times. There were 3 separate volleys of shootings between the suspects and our officers. And each one of those, the suspects fired at us first.
Spurlock says the 6 deputies and 2 suspects collectively fired 35 rounds. Both suspects died. One deputy had minor injuries when he was hit by glass. Spurlock says the Kia was stolen in Pueblo and that both suspects had outstanding arrest warrants for stealing cars.
This is another one of the things that law enforcement across the metro area are seeing every day. Stolen cars, suspects in the stolen cars armed, and they're engaging police officers.
The names of the suspects who were killed have not yet been released. The Douglas County Sheriff will only say that they are both under the age of 32. Kim and Tom.
It's quite a scene.
Yeah, quite a sound as well to listen to the exchange of gunfire, Matt. Thanks. Well, this afternoon, we also have new information about the case involving that woman who was hit by a train while inside of a police car. The officer who parked his car on the train tracks with her inside has a history of disciplinary issues.
Investigative reporter Jeremy Hahola obtained documents that refer to Officer Pablo Vasquez as incompetent.
Just a little more than a month ago, police video captured a train collision with the Platteville police unit parked on the tracks. Inside that unit, Yareni Rios Gonzalez, who was pulled over during a road rage investigation. She's recovering with severe injuries. We've learned the Platteville officer who parked his vehicle on the tracks has a discipline history with another police department. While at the Federal Heights Police Department, Pablo Vasquez was a sergeant. At the time, other officers accused him of operating with a lack of care for his own safety and the safety of his officers. They wrote he appears to be incompetent and has a lack of compassion for victims. These discipline documents obtained by 9 News were written in 2019 and 2020 before he was hired in Platteville. The documents outline other allegations, including being slow to respond to calls, tardiness, and a lack of preparedness. A Federal Heights patrol commander recommended Vasquez be demoted and suspended for failing to follow a performance improvement plan. Pablo Vasquez is still on paid leave pending the investigation into the train collision. We want to know, did Platteville's chief know about these prior discipline problems when he hired Pablo Vasquez? Platteville's chief never returned our emails and phone calls. And this week, state investigators have wrapped up their investigation. They have turned it over to the DA's office. The district attorney in Weld County will now make a determination if those responding officers there that day could face charges.
There has been talk about making it law that people have to check with other departments, that you can't just department hop. If you are someone who fails out of one department, that another department needs to know that.
Well, part of the new law that was passed recently is that if you're fired at an agency, that goes on your record.
Right.
And hiring chiefs around other parts of Colorado will be able to see that. It appears, from what I can see, it's possible this man was able to resign before he he was able to resign when he left Federal Heights and then moved on to Platteville, possibly knowing he may have been fired, could have been fired. That's not spelled out in the document.
Platteville's not answering now, though,
No.
but you think they will or may have to in court?
Well, eventually they're going to have to, because, this is a case involving, CBI investigators, and they're looking at his history, and there's also a civil case that's on the horizon,
Just
too.
going to say, she's
so-
already filed her
Yeah.
lawsuit, too.
Yeah,
So there's going to be a lot of discovery.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of discovery, and his history will likely come into play. I mean, the allegations of negligence pop up with this case, recklessness when the officer parked his unit on the
It's so high
tracks.
profile. It's going to fall under a lot of heat and light.
Yeah.
So we'll
But
see what happens.
But I will say, given our history, looking at police behavior, and 9 wants to know, it is very common before officers are terminated, they will resign. That way, that termination doesn't get on their record, so they're able to resign if they know they're going to get fired. Happens quite a bit.
That will be another aspect to this story that many people are following.
Yep.
Thanks, Jeremy. Well, as we look outside, we're talking about snow. If you're looking in the high country, it is falling. It's going to be benefiting the ski areas looking to get off to a fast start. Danielle joins us now. And Danielle, that snow is heading our way as well.
Yes, it is. Early tomorrow morning. You guys ready for it?
Always ready.
Sure.
I was shoveling this morning before it even hit.
No, I said if it's shovel worthy, I'm not ready for it.
Yeah, I don't want it. Good news
shovels.
is no shovels needed
Okay.
for tomorrow morning. I think Mother Nature should help us out as far as kind of clearing that very, very light snowfall that we do end up seeing early tomorrow, probably by the afternoon as temperatures warm up and we'll get a little bit of sunshine. It will be a classic Colorado snowstorm. Across downtown Denver, no snow just yet. It really has been a fantastic fall day with some blue skies, couple of clouds out there. Otherwise, we are monitoring that snowfall that's pushing into the mountains. We're going to be looking at the heaviest snowfall up there continuing throughout the overnight hours, and then early tomorrow morning, I'd say 6, 7 o'clock. Some of this moisture will get going here in the metro area. For now, just a couple of little rain showers stretching across Douglas, Elbert counties, nothing here in Denver. By about 6, 7 o'clock, we'll be looking at some clouds across the city, and then by 11 p.m., we're still dry. Meanwhile, that snowfall intensifying up in the high country, so if you're driving up there late tonight or early tomorrow morning, just kind of keep that in mind. Here we are already about 8 a.m. hopping in the car, trying to get off to work, get off to school, and Mother Nature might have different plans for you. It could take a minute with that light snowfall coming in early tomorrow. Again, right now, amounts don't look too terribly impressive here in the city, but up in the high country, not bad at all. Overall, about 4 to 8 inches as winter weather advisories will continue through the lunch hour tomorrow. Daytime highs sitting in the mid to upper 50s for many of us here in the metro area, 60s off to the eastern plains with 30s. Up into the high country, the winds, they've been kicking up a bit, but we'll be monitoring a cold front that rolls in overnight, and that will really drop off those temperatures for us tomorrow. So again, the heaviest snow headed to the high country overnight, kind of that wintry mix. Some areas might actually see some rain mixing in with the snow early tomorrow. And then looking ahead to the weekend and then Halloween, of course, guys. So far, so good. Wait till you see how warm we get.
Yeah, it's been so warm, I think people forget about it, and then all of a sudden you realize November is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost here.
Well, Danielle, you're counting the days.
I am.
A big change in the weather sometimes means.
That helps, right?
Yeah.
Okay, come on, little lady. It's go time.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah. No idea,
No idea.
Tom.
No idea.
Just 9 months pregnant over here.
I have no idea.
It's fine.
We will talk to you again in just a few minutes. Thanks,
Okay.
Danielle.
A man from Denver left Colorado 2 months ago to be near his family. Now they're mourning his death after an unusual accident. Michigan State Police say Matt Morgret was killed in a crash in the Upper Peninsula Sunday afternoon.
State police there say a kayak came off the roof of another car and then went through Morgret's windshield. 9 News reporter Jaleesa Irizarry shows us how one local spot is trying to help.
Walk into the Grateful Gnome and be welcomed home.
Hi, my friend. Good to see you.
Workers at the brewery and deli have never met a stranger. For owner Dan Appel, this week, that fact has been hard to face.
Yeah, it has. Him and Laura would come in here all the time. Matt was the nicest guy. He was such a solid dude.
Matt Morgret was a regular at Grateful Gnome. First professionally.
Matt was my original health inspector.
Then personally.
He's a huge live music fan, as am I. But they moved to Michigan about 2 or 3 months ago. Both Mug Club members, we have a Mug Club here. They opted to leave their mugs here because, you know, they said they were going to come back. But here we are.
Michigan State Police say Matt was driving down a highway when a kayak on the roof of another car came loose and pierced his windshield. Matt was killed. His wife was in the car, but was not physically hurt, but emotionally.
It's just heart-wrenching. I wish I could do more for them. I mean, it sucks.
But this week, Appel and his team are doing what they can with what they have.
We have a very good friend of ours who used to be our health inspector who unexpectedly passed away from a freak accident on Sunday. So ESB was his favorite. And then for every ESB that we sell, we're giving 100% of the proceeds to the families, and we're matching whatever we add.
Most restaurants dread the health inspector, but Grateful Gnome isn't most places. For anyone who needs it, it will always be home.
Thank you so much and have a good one.
Michigan State Police say right now there are no charges, but they are still investigating. If it is deemed the person was driving with an unsecured load, he could face charges of a moving violation causing death. Tom and Kim, that beer special at Grateful Gnome will go through next Monday.
It's so nice they can help, but when you talk about a freak accident and the timing it takes for it to happen just the way it did is so sad.
It's absolutely heartbreaking. I think that's what a lot of people at Grateful Gnome are struggling with just how sudden it was. The owner told me he was making plans to go visit them soon.
Just the worst
Their connection.
Yeah.
It's just so neat how they formed that relationship. Thank you, Jaleesa.
Hundreds of students within DPS may have to move to another school. Tonight, the superintendent of Denver Public Schools is talking about why he's recommending the closure of 10 schools.
DPS released a list yesterday. This has been a years-long process, and declining enrollment is a big reason they're giving for doing this. The list was created based on criteria developed by a committee, which includes parents in the impacted areas. Dr. Alex Murrow pointed to lower birth rates, gentrification, and home prices as some of the factors impacting enrollment in these areas. He said it has become impossible to offer electives and other opportunities at smaller schools.
The major reason is to make sure that we can look at every parent saying no matter what school you choose in DPS, you're going to have options and when it comes to electives and things of that nature. We can't say that now.
Dr. Murrow plans to introduce the list as a slate of 10. The school board can vote for or against it, or they can take different action and look at the schools individually. This is on November 14th, and families can share their thoughts on the list as well.
President Biden's loan forgiveness on hold for now. What happens next with that program remains unclear.
Plus, after a couple of years of a hot housing market, things are cooling down considerably. Frustration with airlines continues to grow after a rough summer for most travelers. We'll look at the top and the bottom of a list by the Department of Transportation.